Hey guys, welcome back to the Beyond Hope Project podcast. My name is Jason Tharp. I am a brain cancer survivor. I am a champion of hope. I am here to provide some value to you. And in order to do that, I do need some help. So before we dive into this, I am going to ask a favor. I get lots of messages from people talking about how much this podcast has helped them or they've picked something up. But what I do not see is some reviews and stuff like that on the podcast platform. So if you guys could do me a favor and just hit that quick star button for me, like it, tell people about it. This is how we're going to spread the message. Definitely need some help in getting this all out there because we're working really hard to create this stuff for you and would really just appreciate the idea of helping just pay it forward, spread a little hope. And speaking of spreading, it's funny enough that I was just telling Joe here that we're going to talk about deli sandwiches this episode, which seems really weird, especially when you're talking about hope. But I was trying to figure out a creative way to talk about this subject in a way that would make sense. But it's really about setting expectations. It's how we go about something that seems so familiar and set an expectation. So work with me here and plan ahead. And by the way, we have a Beyond Hope Project newsletter. If you haven't signed up for that yet, like you're missing out, beyondhopeproject.com. Click on the newsletter thing at the top. Scroll down to the bottom, sign up for it. It's a weekly thing. I don't try to sell you a single thing. Guarantee you'll read it in 2 minutes or less. There's a comic that I make weekly. It's all free. I'm not trying to sell you anything at all. Anyway, back to the program. Deli sandwiches. So what are we talking about here? So have you ever noticed that sometimes you go to a deli shop and you'll get something, and when you bite into it, you may like it, you may not like it. Some sandwiches are really awesome. Some sandwiches are kind of and then there's some that are just awful that you'll avoid. But most of the time, we'll all try at least a bite of each one. And I think that life works a lot like this. I think we spend a lot of time thinking what it is we're actually is on the menu of our life. What are we picking today that is going to be great? Something that's going to be ho hum, or something that's going to be absolutely awful. And I want to talk about how our expectations precede that choice, how what we expect to see kind of dictates what kind of bite we get. If you're already having another string of bad days and you're going to go in with the expectation that you're going to bite into this sandwich of the day and it's already going to be awful because here we go again, don't be surprised when that's exactly what it tastes like. It's going to be gross and you're going to want to spit it out. And I think what happens is we get in a little cycle of this whole idea that it's always this, here we go again. Here we go again. Of course, this is how it happens. And this is how the spiral begins. We start looking to blame all the other sandwiches, right? Everything else around us that's disgusting, we just start going like, it's because of this, it's because of that, it's because of this, that, and everything else. And sometimes what it is just the toppings. It could just be the condiment you put on it. What would happen if you just turned a sandwich around and took a bite from the other side? Maybe it tastes different over there. Maybe changing your perspective into what it could be, or simply scraping off the stuff that don't matter anymore. The stuff that don't matter anymore. That didn't sound right, but you get what I'm saying. I think if you don't like tomatoes, stop putting tomatoes on the sandwich. If you're really into mustard, put mustard on a sandwich. If you hate mayonnaise, don't put mayonnaise on a sandwich. Start coming with different expectations and start realizing that you actually have a choice in what you are making. We all think that the menu of life is dictated to us, and we're looking at some sort of external force to tell us that what you're doing is wrong, or waiting for some sort of savior to come in and help us, or tell us that you're on the wrong path, or hey, you don't like pickles. But why? You already know all this stuff. You don't have to continue to think that there's some sort of magic key out there that you're waiting to uncover when it simply is straight in front of you. If you don't like what's on the sandwich, take it off. Make a different choice for yourself today. Go in there and understand you really can change the way that it is for you, how everything unfolds in your life based on you making choices that will affect the way that the thing that you want to eat actually tastes. I guess maybe I'm trying to make you hungry to live life here too. How many more ways can I figure out a way to put in some sort of eating reference into this episode? But I guess my point is, I know that I'm hitting this lighthearted and stuff like that, but it kind of makes me laugh a little bit because I think back of how much time I spent continually eating the wrong type of sandwiches. thinking that with each bite, the flavor would change without ever thinking for a second that why do I keep eating something I don't like anymore? And putting it down and making something new. And it's comical to me because I spent so much time doing that, thinking that there was something wrong with me, thinking that like all along that I was the problem and that somebody else was going to come save me. The only part of that equation I got right was that I was the problem. Just nobody else was going to come save me. Now, I did get a lot of help from my brain, other than just thinking, making that tumor. It really helped me realize that I can be in control of this menu. I can change things up and start making something different. No longer do I spend much time thinking about if I don't like the first bite, I put it down and start something new. I'm not afraid to stand up for myself anymore. I'm not afraid to understand that like what I might like in my head and what I might expect in my head could just be the tip of the iceberg. But if I go into it without expectations and just experience how life is unfolding for me, it might blow me away. Something I think might be so when I actually take the real bite of it without an expectation, without having a mood going into it, and just being open to the idea of the actual experience, my limiting beliefs might just be shattered. Then all of a sudden, the reality starts to come true for you that you realize that all along, everything you wanted has been there. The problem was is that you just were focused on one part of the menu. Maybe it's the thing that you think is going to be absolutely disgusting that you should try. Maybe see that the thing that you really think you're going to love, walk away from it and try something different. Swing back in and see that life is full of tons of different flavors and experiences and condiments and all of the stuff, and everything in that can be scraped away. But until you get real with yourself and sit down with yourself and start building what you want, you're always going to continue to eat the same thing and thinking it's going to taste better. You got to trust me on this. Like this was a cycle I was stuck in over and over and over. I thought the more I would try to outrun it or the more that I would just avoid it, that eventually it would taste different, and it never did. Until the awakening happens where all of a sudden you're forced to try something different, where you have to build something that you will be satisfied with. And until you do that, you're always going to continue to get what you get. Understand that each opportunity every day presents itself with an ability for you to bring a different mood, a different experience. Each day is not exactly the same. Each day can be different if you choose for it to be. If somebody is driving you bonkers, then like go for a walk. Get real with who you are. What is it that you are wanting from this situation? Do you need to walk away from this situation? Do you need to scrape off this stuff? Like, be brave enough to tell that person to hold the pickles, right? You're done with this stuff. Because in that, what you're going to find is there's going to be other people out there that are just like you looking for those types of things. You're going to find a tribe of other sandwich makers out there looking to live a life that is inspiring, that isn't the same old, same old. And what you're going to find is in that, you're going to feel very empowered. And through that power, you're going to be not afraid to be persistent, to show up each day. You're going to be open-hearted and start to love yourself a heck of a lot more than you do right now. And being willing to forgive yourself for mistakes that you made and stop dwelling on the fact that some sort of choice that you made that you thought was right for you and it wasn't, that's just part of life. It just happens. And through that, all the hyper awareness will build up and you'll start to be aware of the power that you actually have to create the world that you want to live in. So the only thing left to ask yourself is like, what kind of sandwich do you want to build today? Are you tired of it? Are you tired of the same old, same old? And if you're not, that's fine. Just keep eating it. If everything's going well for you, kudos. There's a lot of us out there struggling. If you have figured it out, why don't you help somebody else out? Look for those that are still building, trying to figure out a way out. Maybe they're struggling with stuff and you hold the key to them. What could be so minute to you because it's become so routine and so easy could be the saving grace for somebody else that provides them a lifeline that saves everything for them. It all starts with sharing those things, being brave enough to help others. And that's a lot of what this podcast is about. My goal of this is to spread hope, to give you a starting point, an ignition switch to realize that The path is unfolding in front of you all the time. And you're going to start something, and you might start building something, and it's going to go horribly wrong. Maybe the bread will fall apart, or it'll be too soggy. Maybe the toppings won't work exactly the way you want it to. And you're going to think all along that you're just a failure and things keep failing on you no matter how hard you try. But that's just not true. You're not failing. What you're doing is you're learning. The path didn't disappear. You're just looking in the wrong direction. Just turn your head to the other side and see that what is waiting for you is the love and hope you're looking for. But you're too busy building the wrong stuff, expecting to see what you actually long for. In order to get to where you want to go, you're going to have to let go of some stuff that you don't want to let go of. And in that process, you're going to find a different level of yourself. And don't worry, that stuff will still be waiting there if you want to go back and pick it up later, because it's easy to fall back into that trap too. But why not take the chance today and see that if this new deli counter you walk up to might actually have something that you want to eat every day? And then that will evolve too. And that's what a series of it is. It's just a street full of deli counters that we're going to go to each day and make a new sandwich. Some will be really good, and some will be really bad, and some will be, whatever. But that's how life unfolds. Just a big mystery of mystery meat with lots of different condiments and breads to choose from. It's up to us to start making that sandwich. So I feel like I did that. I feel like that I was able to creatively pull together deli sandwiches into Joe's giving me the yes, I did, into a Beyond Hope Project podcast. And again, guys, I know for a fact that this stuff is benefiting you because I am getting the messages, but I need your help. I really do. I can't do this alone. Being a one-man band isn't like always fun. So I do need your help. Help spread the message. I know that there's somebody out there that you know that can hear this stuff, and maybe they're just really big fans of deli sandwiches, and this will help them. But yeah, thank you so much for this, hanging out with me. I just want to remind you one other thing. Being a human's tough, but you're doing a good job. And you may not know me yet, but I want you to know that I'm still cheering you on because I know how rough life can be sometimes. But when we start to look for what we want, we'll actually uncover the things we're looking for. It's usually hidden behind the stuff we're afraid to attack. But it's in those facing our fears that you're going to find the greatest gift that you have for yourself. And that's the real you. So I hope this helps. Power up.
Foxland Media. Think big.